The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Today is March 15th, 2015, the last day of the last weekend of winter. Spring arrives this Friday, and good riddance, not a moment too soon with the crap we've been putting up with. And the Dellasaurus still slumbers in hibernation. Not for long. Well, I'm really getting sick of this Dellasaurus thing burning away at the back of my mind, so it's time to put it to rest. I have a perfectly functional copy of Windows 10 Technical Preview on the Silver Bullet. And here, my friends, is our instrument of torture for the Dellasaurus. A Vantech Nexstar 3 drive enclosure for old school parallel ATA EIDE drives. I've had this for a couple of years. I don't even know if the drive inside it still works or if it's seized up by now. Assuming the drive still works, otherwise I'll grab the one from the Dellasaurus. I want to basically clone the Windows 10 installation of this machine right here onto this drive, and then plug it into the Dellasaurus, apply power, and see what happens. Hopefully nothing too destructive. So we'll find that out today. I'm also keeping the thank you balloon taped to the side of the Silver Bullet with some proper Scotch tape to see how long it takes this balloon to lose its air. Scotch tape's peeling up already. Anyways. So yeah, I remember when I was a kid, actually, whether you got foil balloons or latex balloons, after 3 days the things would be half deflated, but not this thing for whatever reason. Let's see how long this thing holds on to its air. Alright. It's torture time for the Dellasaurus. That thing has driven me nuts enough with this whole Windows 10 thing. Let's see if we can get it to do anything except crash all over the place. We know the optical drive's not going to cooperate, so let's get a little more direct. Power on the beast! Well, that's kind of anticlimactic. Updates! Somehow I have this weird feeling that I should have done this before I started filming this darn thing. Alright, so I verified that the drive in the PATA plug-in drive still actually spins up, so it still works good. And I also backed up its contents to the SATA one that I have, so the only difference between these two is there's an eSATA port there, which doesn't exist on the EIDE one. So I've pretty much got one of each, so I can put any drive that I have into an enclosure and use it that way. Also watching stuff on the tablet, because we have quite a few downloads going on here. So we're downloading Seagate Disk Wizard 250 megs, which is an image program based on Acronis. And the fun part with these imager things, these little personal imager programs, is that both of the main manufacturers of hard drives have some version of this Acronis program that you can use to make your own images. So you can make an image of a new... And here's the fun part. If you have a plug-in drive like what we're playing with here, your plug-in drive, if it's a Seagate or a Western Digital, counts as the at least one drive that's Seagate or Western Digital that's required in order to use a utility like Disk Wizard. So I've used Disk Wizard, Seagate Disk Wizard, for example, on Seagate plug-in drives to move images on and off of computers that don't have Seagate drives. Kind of interesting. You need at least one of the drives involved, and it can be the plug-in drive, to be the brand of whatever Acronis program you're using. There's one for Seagate, one for Western Digital. So we're downloading the Seagate one because both of the drives that are inside these enclosures are definitely Seagates. So, well, let's watch some more videos on the tablet while waiting for this thing to download. That's better. One of the things that I made certain to do, though, is turn this drive off. Because there have been times that I've accidentally installed the software on the plug-in drive, you know, if like the drive let her screw up or something. Alright, let's try this. PATA plug-in drive. We want to clone from the C drive to the plug-in drive. It's kind of nice. The wallpaper that Windows is using right now is some kind of seawall thing. Yeah, we'll be breaching the walls on the Dellasaurus if it doesn't crash all over the place. Clone disk. That is what we want. Let's see what we can do here. I don't want to make an image. I want this to actually be bootable. So, all partitions will be copied. The target disk and simple steps. New hard disk will be made bootable. Yes, that's exactly what I want. I want. Let's not screw this up now. Let's see here. Okay, so the source disk is going to be the primary master, which is 250 gig Seagate, which is one of my old data drive drives from Tuxedo years and years ago. It's going to go to tick-tock, tick-tock. Well, it does have a little clock thing, so... Been watching some YouTube videos on the tablet, mostly hardware builds. There's actually this one person who's I'm probably going to make a blog entry about. She's built her first computer ever, and you can tell it's her first computer ever. Oh, brother. For one thing, she built a Core i5 system and called it a budget build. The destination hard disk contains partitions that contain useful data. Yes, delete the darn things, because I already know it's backed everywhere else. Let's see here. We want it to be bootable, so don't change a thing. Start copying. This might take about 20 minutes or so. Anyways, this young lady whose video I was watching, she was doing her first budget build, and she called it. Oh wait, we still gotta go here. Power plug-in drive. Okay, good. And rock and roll, Scooby-Doo. If I did this backwards and blanked out the computer, I've got the install stuff anyways. That's one of the fun things about these test OSs. Plus, I blew away the old XP installation before putting Win 10 on here to begin with, so... Alright, see what we're gonna get here. Anyways, so the young lady who's what the... This computer restart is required? Oh, I see. So it's going to get the OS and everything in a read-only state. Okay, let's see what it does here. So is it going to restart and then clone in some kind of special boot mode or something like that? We'll see what it does. Anyways, the young lady whose video I watched, and we'll probably make a blog entry about it, was her first computer build ever, and yeah, she's going to be laughing at herself in 5 to 10 years tops. First of all, she said she was building an $800 budget build. Let me tell you, $800 is not a budget gaming PC. $400 is. And she used an Intel CPU. Mistake number 2. So she used a Core i5. So like, oh, I need a Core i5. I'm going to put an 8350 in there. You also get cheaper motherboards in the AMD side as well. I mean, I've seen Asus motherboards for roughly chips in the same performance range. The Intel one is $50 more expensive. So, I mean, the Intel AMD thing may be a little lopsided right now, but in terms of bang for buck, AMD is basically staying alive that way, and the motherboard manufacturers are following suit. What the? Oh, you can see, so out of focus you can see the dust on the thing. Hello? Alright, focus. Yeah. Gotta clean off this lens. Let's see if it's doing what I think it's doing. I think it's going to boot into Seagate. Yep, that's what it's gonna do. It's going to clone it up. It actually made a version of what you would normally have on a CD-ROM to install a partition. So let's see what it does here. Is this going to be fully automated, or am I actually going to have to click stuff? I think this might be Linux-based, too. Some of the startup stuff kind of looked Linux-y. But, so yeah, and then she also got an aftermarket cooler, so she's afraid her CPU's... I'm afraid my CPU's going to be too hot. Well, with a Haswell, maybe that's a valid thing, but stock coolers can usually run at stock speeds without any issues if you get a decent enough chassis fan setup going. So... She bought an aftermarket cooler for her first computer ever, and then she pointed the fan the wrong way. Oh man, the comments were, she was like, I will report you if you say bad things. You should have watched a few more PC building guides and stuff. Ooh, yeah, cool. So it is fully automated. Nice. What kind of time are we looking at here? It's actually going to shut down the computer when the operation is completed. So cool. I'm not even going to have to shut the machine off. When it clicks off, that is when it's done. Sweet! So, she did all these things wrong, and I'm going to give her a break because it's her first computer ever, but, I mean, it's great that she's experimenting with this stuff. I mean, we do need more women in STEM-type career-type things, so I remember when I was in college, I'd go to CIS classes, and the professor would be like, okay, there's like nearly all guys here. You think there's a bit of a problem with not enough women being interested in hard science type careers and stuff? And you know what the sad part is? Statistically, boys and girls are both equally interested in science at, like, the 4th grade level. The drop-off happens around, like, middle school or something. So, is it some kind of, like, values or some kind of, like, sexism in our culture that causes women's interest in science to drop off? I don't know, but... Anyways, enough of the CNN, C-SPAN type stuff there. We still don't have... Oh, 8 minutes! So even though this is going to a slow USB plug-in drive via USB 2, it's going to be an 8-minute affair. I do not intend on running this camera for all 8 minutes. So I applaud her for going from just being a gamer to a PC builder, but I hope she's ready to laugh at herself in 3 to 5 years tops if she becomes a regular at this, because some of the choices that she made, I mean, it's kind of like when I watched my first YouTube video from 2006. I almost can't watch it. It is such a groaner of a video. It's crazy how, you know, just doing stuff makes you better at things, like building computers and the like. So, alright, 7 minutes or so to go, and that's an estimate. I've seen these things take not nearly as much time before, so we'll see what happens. Dellasaurus, I hope you're shaking in your boots. It kicked off. Let's grab a screwdriver. It's torture time for the Dellasaurus. Okay, torture time has arrived for the Dellasaurus. Let's see how much we can crash this thing. So this should be pretty simple to take apart. 2 screws, then just mess around until the drive is loose, and then this is one of those cheapo cases with the piece of metal that bends in order for the drive to go in. So let's do a little bit of a swap from this old Maxter. Is that a 6.0? I think it is. Yeah, it's a 60 gig. It's amazing that this drive still works all these years later. Last one standing. This is actually the last functional Maxter drive that I actually still have. Everything else has been since the Seagate acquisition. Alright, let's give this a shot here. Alright, that was pretty straightforward. Just had to unplug this little pin on the way, or this little plug on the way out that runs a little Vantec light over on the front of the case. But there we go, straightforward. And the rest of this should be very, very straightforward. Just undo 4 screws, take the drive out, and let's see what happens when we apply power in the Dellasaurus. Maxter is out, Seagate is in, and power is connected. Are you ready to watch everything crash? It's funny how this Maxter has just lasted so long. Manufactured May of 2003. Last Maxter drive standing, indeed, and there's what's left. The only thing I'd recommend with working with these plug-in drives is make sure that you're unplugging the drives while the drives are cold, because metal expands and it's a little hard to get out of there when the drive's just been running. Oh yeah, little tiny cables. I don't like the solder job on that thing over there. Or is this glued in? I don't know. Alright. Moment of truth time. Ready to watch this thing crash all over the place? I'm going to crash this computer in 3, 2, 1. It's crashing time. Let's break it. Howdy, folks. Okay, it boots. Where's my signal? Crash! Windows failed to start. A recent hardware or software change might be the cause. A required device isn't connected or can't be accessed. Dun, 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 dun. Windows technical preview. How about Windows setup? What happens there? Ooh, wait a minute. Let's see what this does. Just went into Windows setup. Here. Yes. Yes, I am wearing the bathrobe. It's a little cold down here. I keep the downstairs at 50 degrees now, so just enough for the pipes not to freeze. Tell Ever-Screwed Energy to stop gouging us if you want me to actually run some heat down here. No. So running Windows setup off of the drive that would not boot, it insta-crashed. Let's see what happens, because we're getting further than we did with trying to install it off of an optical drive, that's for sure. Windows failed to start. Oops! This 64-bit application couldn't load because your PC doesn't have a 64-bit processor. As the dog returns to its vomit, so the fool repeats its folly. Once again, I have forgotten that this computer is so freaking old that the Celeron in it is 32-bit only. So the hard drive swap trick from the silver bullet to the Dellasaurus is not going to work. Okay, well, what we have to do now is get a computer that has so little RAM that we can install a 32-bit Win 10 and try this again from that computer. That will be our next attempt at Windows 10 versus the Dellasaurus. So we know we did make a little bit of progress, and we crashed it because of the old 32-bit, 64-bit thing again. Oh, I gotta stop torturing these really old computers. Oh, cool. Now watch, there's gonna be trolls in the comments flaming me for this for another 2 years, and YouTube's gonna feature this video and it's gonna get tens of thousands of views because I made this mistake again. Just a tad bit of an oversight.
Epic fail.
Dellasaurus, you've made me look like a moron 2 Windows previews in a row. But mark my words, this isn't over.